We welcome you to the State University of New York at Buffalo School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences 18th Annual White Coat Ceremony. This afternoon, we'll introduce the class of 2024 in this virtual ceremony. The White Coat Ceremony symbolizes the passage into the initial stages of the profession of pharmacy. This represents a contract for excellence in providing compassionate patient care. This event also highlights the importance of scientific scholarship and emphasizes the highest principles of moral, ethical, and legal conduct. Today, our students take part in this tradition that welcomes them to begin the study among the ranks of pharmacy professionals. At this time, Dr. James O'Donnell, Dean of our school, will give his greetings. Dr. O'Donnell.
Good morning, or afternoon, I guess. I would like to welcome all of our P1 students to this truly unique White Coat ceremony. Traditionally, we'd all be meeting on campus to welcome you, but since this can't happen, we didn't want to let the moment pass without recognizing you and all you've accomplished. This White Coat ceremony is symbolic and marks the beginning of a journey unlike any other you've attempted. You'll be challenged many times along the way, but you'll find many rewards. The opening of your mind to new ideas and thoughts, the realization of the collaboration and the synergy between the clinical and natural sciences, the powerful impact you will have upon the health and well-being of your community, and the friendships and relationships you'll build with each other and with the faculty and staff at the school and across the university. I'd like to make note of our guests and colleagues who are with us here today. Specifically mentioning Dr. Kathleen Bourget, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Dr. William Prescott, Chair, Department of Pharmacy Practice, Dr. Marilyn Morris, Chair, Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Dr. Nick Fusco, Vice Chair for Education, Practice and Service, Department of Pharmacy Practice, Dr. Calvin Meany, Vice Chair for Research, Department of Pharmacy Practice, Dr. Dawn Major, Vice Chair, Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and again, you've met our officiator, Professor Carl Fiebelhorn, Senior Associate Dean for Student, Professional, and Community Affairs. Also joining us is our alumnus and keynote speaker, Dr. Peter Fent, a member of PharmD and MBBA class of 2016. We're honored to have him here and look forward to his comments later in the program. We'd also like to recognize the following valued program sponsors. Representing Rite Aid Corporation, sponsor of the students' White Coats, I'm pleased to introduce Jim Geiser, class of 1997, and regional pharmacy leader.
Hi, guys. Sorry, here I dropped it. First of all, I want to thank the UB School of Pharmacy for giving me the opportunity today to speak to the class of 2024. First, I'd like to say congratulations to the new pharmacy students on being accepted into this amazing program. As you may already know, in the last published rankings, UB is the 14th pharmacy school in the nation. Way back when I attended pharmacy school, we were ranked 5th in the nation. However, I did want to dispel the notion that there were only 5 pharmacy schools at that time. I want to thank you for choosing a career in pharmacy. I can assure you it will be a career filled with change. It will be a career filled with amazing achievements. Did you know in 2019, pharmacists immunized more patients than any other healthcare profession? It will be a rewarding career knowing that you get an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of the community in which you live and serve. I want each of you to think about why you enrolled in the pharmacy school. Was it to help people? Did you enroll to make a difference in your community? Did you want to follow in someone else's footsteps? Did you enroll to perform research and maybe find a new medication? Whatever the reason that you enrolled, I want you to always remember that reason and use it to propel you when you face adversity. One of my favorite quotes is, adversity is just another word for opportunity. When you look back at the year 2020, what are you going to remember? Are you going to remember the pandemic, or will you remember the beginning of your pharmacy career? When the pandemic hit, we all had to make changes quickly and adapt to something we had never seen before. We had to adapt to online learning, online test taking. We got to be experts at Zoom and WebEx. The overall arching theme is that we adapted, became successful doing something we had never done before. I would ask that you apply those lessons you learned over the next 4 years in pharmacy school. Life is all about choices. We can choose to listen and focus on the negativity, or we can choose to listen and focus on the positivity. When in doubt, always choose positivity. The next 4 years are going to go by fast, faster than you can possibly imagine. Make sure you take time out for yourself. Keep yourself healthy. Take a break from schoolwork, ride a bike, take a walk or a hike, visit a park, see Niagara Falls. For those of you who don't call Western New York home, I would challenge you to see what this area has to offer. I can assure you it's much more than chicken wings. In conclusion, I have 3 asks for everyone. Number 1, learn 2 new things daily. It might be the maximum daily dose of furosemide, which is 600 milligrams, or where's the best pizza. Commit yourself to being a lifelong learner. Number 2, be part of the solution. Always look for ways to solve problems and not create them. Number 3 is something that I've done over the last year. It's really changed my life. Replace have to with get to. So what does that mean? You don't have to take that test. You get to take that test. It's definitely a big change in mindset that'll help you focus on the positive aspect of life. Thank you again for your time today. Just want everybody to know, for those of you who don't have a friend in the Western New York pharmacy community, you do now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Topps Pharmacy is a sponsor of our White Coat ceremony. They could not join us today, but wanted to share the following remarks. As always, Topps Markets congratulates the class of 2024. It is quite the accomplishment to join this prestigious profession. With the introduction into the UB School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, you join a remarkable class of students, alumni, and professors. Enjoy your time, as 4 years will pass by quickly. Also know that many people will contribute to your education over the years, and when you complete your degree, remember to pay it forward. That's from Matt Hammond, class of 2009, Director of Pharmacy. I'd also like to acknowledge our exceptional Dean's Ambassador program. The Dean's Ambassadors are a dedicated cadre of alumni and current students who play valuable roles in the recruitment and admission processes by sharing their positive experience and advice with prospective students. I would also like to thank faculty from our departments of pharmacy practice and pharmaceutical sciences and school staff in attendance, and special thanks to Rebecca Brierly, Kara Sweet, Lee Yates, Laura Davidovitz, Sarah Robinson, and Christine Stum, and also Tim Matthews from the University's Honors College for their assistance today. Thank you.
Hi, as Senior Associate Dean for Student, Professional, and Community Affairs, I formally welcome the members of the class of 2024 to the school and to our profession of pharmacy. We would now like to begin the cloaking ceremony. If you are on your own, put your coat on as we call you. If you are with a family or friend, please have them help you put your coat on. I'm going to start calling the names, and forgive me if I mispronounce some of the names, but we'll do the best we can. Hopefully I'll get them right by the time commencement comes around. Kiara Benton from East Amherst. Mia Bersani from Jamesville, New York. Stella Belaszewski from Eden, New York. Brianna Bailey from Buffalo, New York. Tyler Boschno from New City, New York. Kristen Nicole Bossong from Holtzville, New York. and Kelly Marie Bossong from Holtzville, New York. Obviously, they're related. Emily Bowen from Peru, New York. Emily Bowie from Lancaster, New York. Joseph Carr from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Nicole Castoro from Garden City, New York. Shelby Chan from New York, New York. Livia Chase from North Tonawanda, New York. Judy Chen from Brooklyn, New York. Christina Chang from Amherst, New York. Selvi Chabra from Holtzville, New York. Justin Chu from Little Neck, New York. Winnie Chu from Brooklyn, New York. Edgar Claudio from Staten Island, New York. Mariana Conley from Liverpool, New York. Emily Deep from Rochester, New York. Bert Lees Durand from Buffalo, New York. Solde Rosario, Estrada Pena from Buffalo, New York. Danielle Fisher from Bronx, New York. Mackenzie Gleason from Portville, New York. Parisa Halagi Dels Fuli from Poskepi, New York. Nicolo Hernandez from Buffalo, New York. Leanna Hodge from Kendall, New York. Marissa Hovey from Grand Island, New York. Davia Lorio from Amsterdam, New York. Gabrielle Javier from Flushing, New York. Wayawa Vivian Chang from Bayside, New York. Caden Jones from Elma, New York. Raul Kapoor from Mississauga, Ontario. Nilai Caritas from Sunnyside, New York. Joshua Kelly from North Tonawanda, New York. Minji Kim from Elma, New York. Bridget Klein from Orangeburg, New York. Jeffrey Klossner from Remsen, New York. Beauty Collarde from Bronx, New York. Catherine Kirschneck from Lockport, New York. Matthew Colmay from Depew, New York. Preston Lee from Bayside, New York. Cumin Lee from Ardsley, New York. Aaron Lee from Flushing, New York. Alex Lydolf from North Tonawanda, New York. Winnie Lee from Troy, New York. Christopher Liao from Fairport, New York. Ki-Hong Lin from Brooklyn, New York. Hang Lin from Brooklyn, New York. Michelle Lin from West Seneca, New York. Monica Linares Osorto from Far Rockaway, New York. Rongzhen Lu from Ozone Park, New York. Francesco Lupino from Mount Kisco, New York. Victoria Lyle from, excuse me, North Tonawanda, New York. Latungira Mesha from Buffalo, New York. Michelle Maj from Coram, New York. Lucinda Malkowitz from Buffalo, New York. Elaine Margie from Oneida, New York. Solome Maui from Buffalo, New York. Harris Milanovic from Jackson Heights, New York. Samantha Minotti from Alden, New York. Madeline Mokarski from Wilson, New York. Vitor Morrow from Corning, New York. Allison Murchison from North Tonawanda, New York. Nicholas Naraki from Lewiston, New York. Kimberly Nguyen from Amherst, New York. Tina Nguyen from Fredonia, New York. Charles Ungawo Jr. from Farmington, New York. Not present, okay. Muchemso Okacha from Elizabeth, New Jersey. I'm so used to saying New York. Diamond Augie from Wappingers Falls, New York. Basha Othman from Utica, New York. Amin Patel from Clinton, Mississippi, pretty far away. Kevin Pham from Rochester, New York. Eric Rain from Buffalo, New York. Haneen Rizek from North Tonawanda, New York. Serena Roberts from Brooklyn, New York. Carmela Ruiz from Long Island City, New York. So many happy faces. Joshua Santoromana from Staten Island, New York. Hewan Claire Seo from Suwon, South Korea, even further away than Mississippi. Maya Scepter from Slingerlands, New York. Reedy Sharma from Center Reach, New York. Minghao Shi from Markham, Ontario. Rebecca Seacat from Conyers, New York. Komal Sadike from Lockport, New York. Adam Smith from Rochester, New York. Madison Sobczak from Buffalo, New York. Kevin Stalder from New Woodstock, New York. Dimitri Esvergan from Lockport, New York. Riley Tepewell from Pittsburgh, New York. Amy Toby from Brooklyn, New York. Kevin Tran from Milton, Ontario. Samantha Valmond from New Hyde Park, New York. Daniel Van Oss from Buffalo, New York. Wilbur Velasquez from Baldwin, New York. Diana Vertihovskaya from Tonawanda, New York. Patrick Vilda from New Windsor, New York. Alice Vole White from Schuylerville, New York. Alain Vu from Ottawa, Ontario. Zach Walker from Bayport, New York. Jessica Weaver from Corfu, New York. Wayana Young from Hicksville, New York. Suki Zan from New York, New York. And Elisa Zhu from Corona, New York. And there we have the class of 2024. Everybody can give a round of applause. I would now like to ask the class of 2024 to stand and be recognized. Let's give a virtual round of applause for everybody.
I think we can do better than that. Let's give everybody, let's unmute and give us.
Unmute,
all
okay.
So, come on, let's, come on, call it out. Woo, class of 2024. Yeah. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Great.
Congrats.
Okay, next is our guest and alumnus, Dr. Peter Fent. Dr. Fent is a 2016 PharmD MBA graduate. He's a Long Island native who grew up in Manhasset, New York. Peter completed his undergraduate study at the University of Chicago in Chicago, Illinois, where he earned a biology BA degree and creative writing minor in 2011. He then earned his PharmD at the UB School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences and his MBA at the UB School of Management in 2016. After pharmacy school, he completed a postgraduate pharmaceutical industry fellowship at Celgene Corporation through the Rutgers Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship Program. Following completion of his fellowship, Peter was hired full-time by Celgene Corporation, where he worked in global market insights, leading the competitive intelligence and market research efforts for therapeutics in development of hematologic malignancies. As part of Celgene's acquisition by Bristol Myers Squibb in 2019, he has been supporting his team's integration as well as leading worldwide and United States market research for CAR T therapeutics in multiple myeloma. Peter has remained an active alumnus with the UB School of Pharmacy and UB School of Management as a student mentor and advocate of pharmacy. Currently he serves as Leader Corps Mentor, Rutgers Pharmaceutical Industry Fellowship Mentor, and a founder and steering committee member of Celgene Pharmacist Network, which is focused on providing networking, continuing education, professional development support for pharmacists and pharmacy advocates. We look forward to hearing Dr. Fent's insights. Dr. Fent, good to see you.
Thank you very much, Professor Peeplecorn. Good to see you and to see the class of 2024. Congratulations. So I am very excited to be here this afternoon to have a few minutes to speak with all of you. And I know that this day, the white coat ceremony, is a culmination of years of hard work and focused commitment. And for that, you have much to be proud of. This is the doorway into your future as pharmacists. And during the years of preparation, no one could have imagined that this is what your first year would look like. Who here hasn't been impacted by the coronavirus? I'm sure everyone has family or friends affected, grandparents or at-risk relatives who've been particularly isolated, individuals struggling with financial hardships, or no frontline workers who are willingly battling this pandemic on a daily basis. And personally, I don't need to remind you of the impact of COVID-19 on your education, and even your white coat experience is part of it. We're in mid-November, already having completed classes these past months. And so the question comes, why are we here today? Certainly some may feel it seems a bit odd to pause midweek for a white coat ceremony, as you've already been living through those exams and assignments, the stresses and deadlines that come with pursuing this field of study. Yet just for this reason, today is an important opportunity after these past months and challenges to pause and reflect and revisit what this is all about. I'm reminded of when I was a junior in college, going through the stress of pharmacy school applications, wondering where will I end up for the next 4 years? UB was one of my top choices. And in working through the admissions essay, they asked, essentially, what was my motivation for pursuing a PharmD? A few years earlier, I had seen my grandfather hospitalized with Parkinson's disease and a number of uncontrolled comorbidities. We'd already been coming to terms with his slow but progressive decline due to dementia and feared the worst when he had to be admitted. After a couple of tense and uncertain days, it was a pharmacist who discovered medication errors and inconsistencies that had been contributing to his rapid decline in health. That pharmacist helped to save his life and gave us extra years to enjoy with him. How many of you have personally had similar experiences or know loved ones who did? I'm sure that many have witnessed and were inspired by the compassion, dedication, and insights healthcare professionals brought into your lives. Those are important motivations to have and good reminders to hold on to. But in all honesty, those individual experiences may not be enough to singularly pull you through the all-nighter study sessions, to keep you focused and inquisitive during back-to-back lectures as you approach finals, or maybe during a Thursday white coat speech, or to energize you through juggling the balance of work, school, and life. And please don't misunderstand me. This doesn't diminish those experiences. But in reflecting on my time in pharmacy school here at UB, it's clear that just as you seek to grow an understanding of pharmacy calculations or pharmacokinetics and dynamics, you'll also need to develop more broadly as a professional and individual. So in trying to distill my thoughts into something that won't be completely drowned out by all of the competing priorities, I would offer up as food for thought 3 Ps for PharmDs: perspective, passion, and people. And I know this may sound a bit ridiculous, but as I found out with my own studies, sometimes rhymes, crazy acronyms, jingles, and mnemonics are just the trick to help things stick in your memory. So first, let's start with the idea of perspective. How many of you feel stressed right now? How many have seen an increase in stress over the last few months? If we were together in person, I'd ask for a show of hands, but I have a feeling we can all visualize the outcome. Unfortunately, the presence of stress will be a fact of life in the coming years. There's no getting around it. And in some ways, this stress can serve to help you grow professionally and personally. However, it's still something that needs to be managed, not overlooked. And it's important to keep perspective on the big picture. I know from experience that sometimes you can get caught up in all of the exams, work, rotations, and assignments. And in being overwhelmed, you could lose balance with the rest of your life. You need to remember that school is meant to prepare you for your career, but you can only be successful if you care for yourselves as well. A big part of this is finding productive ways to de-stress. One opportunity you've likely heard much about is getting involved in professional pharmacy organizations. And I'm sure you're all pros by now, but I remember during orientation feeling crushed under the deluge of acronyms. And deciphering student organization names was just as much work as medical terminology. But with that being the case, make sure that you learn as much as you can about these groups and be sure to get involved. They'll help you to learn about the profession, meet new people in and outside of the school, and give you an opportunity to grow in ways which complement your studies without exacerbating them. Granted, sometimes it can be hard to decide how to split your time between multiple priorities, but looking back, the benefits I gained in developing leadership skills and a greater understanding of the healthcare environment have been just as important as technical knowledge, which I also took with me from the program. Now, with this being the case, also remember there are other things besides school and pharmacy. Take time to enjoy nature, as had been mentioned earlier, to catch up with friends, or to do the things you love. Music was always a really grounding pastime for me, and I can't tell you how important it was for me to be able to set aside my studies and blow off some steam with friends. It may seem hard to justify in the moment, but keep a long-term perspective, because a balanced and centered approach will ultimately make you not only more successful, but happier in your career and life. And I'll admit, this is easier said than done, and maintaining perspective may require a conscious effort on a daily basis. In some ways, it could seem to conflict with the second P, passion. When it comes to the idea of passion, what comes to mind for you? How would you define it? When I think about passion, it brings to mind a driving force, something intense and overflowing and motivating. Passion is a strong emotion that can drive us to explore new heights of creativity, discover new depths of strength and resolve, and pursue new levels of understanding about ourselves and our place in the world. In this way, passion is often tied to those personal experiences that motivate us to pursue the field of pharmacy, the fuel that guided us here and gives us drive. For myself, the experience my grandfather faced with Parkinson's disease and the journey friends and family have taken in battling cancer not only drove me to pharmacy, but continue to push me in my career. In this way, passion can be a powerful motivator, but it can also go through peaks and valleys, burning bright at some times and simmering low at others. It can both complement and contradict that perspective. And so I found that when passion seems a bit smothered under day-to-day stressors, the third P comes into place: people. People should be a primary motivation behind what we seek to accomplish as pharmacists, as they are the supporting force that makes us successful in what we do. I remember sitting in your seat almost 10 years ago, and I couldn't help thinking about my brother's law school orientation, where they were told to look to the left and to the right, knowing that at least one neighbor might not make it to graduation. That type of competitive mindset would be counterproductive in this program. Those classmates surrounding you will instead be the ones enabling your success approaching graduation. And it may be hard to visualize in this remote setting, but this class, your class, is a community and a family. You'll make lifelong friends and colleagues over the coming years. And in a time when socializing and networking is made even more difficult, it only further emphasizes the importance of reaching out and connecting with your classmates. Lean on each other and let your success in this program be measured not just by your development, but the growth and success of your classmates as well. And it doesn't stop there. Who else is invested in your success? It can't be emphasized enough that all of the professors, administrators, and staff surrounding you in this program are fully invested in you. They're extremely knowledgeable and committed to your success and development. And I would encourage each of you to use them as resources and to find mentors and role models amongst them. When stress mounts and pressure builds, remember that you're part of this community as both beneficiaries and contributors. Consider as well that some of the most important people to remember are the patients. There's a reason that pharmacists consistently rank as top trusted professionals. And the oath of a pharmacist, which you'll take in just a few minutes, has at its root the promise to devote myself to a lifetime of service to others through the profession of pharmacy. Make sure to internalize and embrace this. You'll often be the first line and most consistent source of medical interaction for patients. You'll be a trusted resource as they confront unexpected ailments, as they navigate acute illness, and as they learn to cope with chronic conditions. And sometimes it can be trying when working the night shift, or when you have patients who all seem to have their bad days on the same day. But always remember that you have the opportunity to help them overcome and manage their conditions. You can be a gateway to the healthcare they need, and you can be a friendly and trusted advisor in their lives. So at this point, I've talked a lot, and a clear challenge of video conferencing is the inability to read the crowd, so hopefully I haven't lost too many of you. But ultimately, if nothing else sticks, remember these 3 Ps for PharmDs. Always work towards maintaining perspective and balance in your lives. Fuel the passion that led you here and keep it burning bright as you advance in your studies and your careers. And never forget what makes this all possible: people. People are the how behind your success as friends, peers, mentors, and advocates. And people are the why that should drive us every day. The patients we seek to serve, our neighbors who look to us as trusted professionals and accessible resources in navigating some of the most difficult, challenging, and sometimes confusing things they may face in their lives. We have not only an opportunity, but a humble privilege as pharmacists to play a meaningful role in the lives of those around us. And I hope that today, on your white coat ceremony, this serves as a reminder of why you should be so proud of this profession and how excited you can be knowing the distinguished part you can play in advancing the profession and in serving those patients who so desperately need us. Thank you, and P.S., don't forget your flu vaccines.
Thank you for those remarks. Let's give him a big round of applause if we can. Great. Thanks again, Peter, for all your remarks. I now call upon the class to recite with me the oath of the pharmacist. This oath symbolizes the ethics and professionalisms you'll be empowered to carry on as you begin your education and professional careers. I am going to share my screen. If I'm a co-host, hopefully I'm a co-host, and I share my screen. Oh, you have it up there already. Okay, even better. We're going to recite this together, and I would hope the other people attending will do the same thing. So please raise your right hand and recite the oath with me. I promise to devote myself to a lifetime of service to others through the profession of pharmacy. In fulfilling this vow, I will consider the welfare and humanity and relief of suffering my primary concerns. I will apply my knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of my ability to assure optimal outcomes for my patients. I will respect and protect all personal and health information entrusted to me. I will accept the lifelong obligation to improve my professional knowledge and competence. I will hold myself and my colleagues to the highest principles of our profession's moral, ethical, and legal conduct. I will embrace and advocate changes that improve patient care. I will utilize my knowledge, skills, and experiences and values to prepare the next generation of pharmacists. I take these vows voluntarily with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public. Congratulations and welcome to the profession. I would like to thank you all for joining us today for our virtual celebration. The class of 2024 is an important part of our family. We cannot wait to be able to meet with you all in person as soon as it is possible. Please note, if conditions permit, we are evaluating hosting a reception at the school later in the spring semester, so stay tuned for details. This concludes our ceremony. Thank you again and have a pleasant afternoon.